Black Panther Party's free breakfast program was a revolutionary act, not charity. So let's talk about why. I mean, it has to be a reason the FBI said it was dangerous, right? But there were all these kids, mostly black kids, who are going to school hungry every single day. Raise your hands, how many of y'all can concentrate when you're hungry? Exactly. So the Panthers' first response was, let's feed the kids. Boom, short-term problem resolved. But that's not it. They'd ask the kids, why were you hungry in the first place? Now they're thinking about what has caused their hunger. Why are we in a food desert? Why do all the corner stores in our neighborhood only sell old food? Or this one, why can the Panthers supply us so much with so little, and the wealthiest nation in the world can supply us so little with so much? See, those are the kind of questions that got the FBI on their toes. The Panthers show the world that America does not care about black people, and that maybe there's a better way to govern that puts people rather than profits at the center. Oh, but we're not done, because poor people all over the world can identify with the black struggle in America. Good white, brown, yellow people, whatever, thinking, oh, the Panthers are onto something. Because they used a basic necessity like food to organize people nationwide. And yeah, they raised funds from selling the newspapers, but at least in Oakland, they forced all the local businesses to contribute food or money to the programs. It didn't matter if the owner was black or white. If you were doing business in the black community, you had to contribute to the Panther survival programs. And if you didn't, they were going to boycott your business. Because food is a basic right? But we live under capitalism where it has a price that some people can't afford. But the Panthers forced everybody to model a different society where the kids were supplied food by the capitalists that once starved them. That's why the free breakfast program was revolutionary. That's why J. Edgar Hoover said that the Black Panther Party was the greatest threat to the internal security of the country. And he said that right after they started the free breakfast program for school children. How about that?
All right, welcome to the RBN Roundtable. Welcome to everybody who is watching. I am one of your hosts, JB. What's good, Sabby? What's good, Rome?
What's popping, y'all? Oh man, JB looking fly today, boy. What's going on?
JB put on the
in Rome right now.
What's going on, JB? What's going on, Rome?
What's going on, Sabby? How y'all been?
Yo, good to see all the beautiful faces here. Just to let you guys know, the roundtable is every single month on the last Thursday of the month, and it is the last Thursday, so you guys can see us there. By the way, if you guys have not already, go ahead and give a like to the stream. This helps us out to be able to reach more people, to activate, to help people to learn to organize as well as to be informed. So thank you so very much for that. Also, if you guys would like to, you can join our mailing list at revolutionaryblackout.substack.com. This gives you email notifications whenever we go live. So you guys have that there. And if you guys would like to get in contact with us, you guys can get in contact with us at revolutionaryblackout@outlook.com. Either send us some news or send us some encouraging words. Either or we will kindly accept. So thank you so very much. It's going to be a great show, isn't it, by the way?
Oh yeah, it's going to be a great show. We got some great people joining us down there in Florida. So I can't wait to get them, man.
Yep, it's not only hot in the weather, it's getting hot in these streets. So hello to everybody. Got a blanket hello to everybody to see all of you. But we're also going to show the thumbnail and what we're going to be talking, or who we're going to be talking to today. So we are going to be talking to Real Orlando. REAL is an acronym for Revolutionary Education Action League. They are a Marxist-Leninist, a mutual aid and education group in Orlando. And I've been doing work with them and collaborating with them. It has been a privilege. It has been an honor, and it has been very educational. And so I would like to introduce Real Orlando. Welcome, every single one of y'all.
Hello, hello.
What up?
What's going on, y'all?
All right.
It's an
So
honor to be
one of
here.
the things that we're going to do is we would like for you all to introduce yourselves. So we're going to do it in clockwise. So we're going to start in the center with Albizu, and then we're going to work our way around to Vay, Hamer, Lila, and Georgina.
Hello, everyone. My name is Albizu. I am a founding member of the Revolutionary and Education and Action League. I am in charge of the propaganda and agitation. So if you see any work out there that is agitating, or our Substack, our IG, things of that nature, that is what I lead.
Yeah, and I'm Vay. I'm also part of the agitation and propaganda team. You can see me a lot on TikTok and doing a lot of the work with our radio show, Radio Free Florida, and other side things in Real as well.
All right. Hamer?
What's up, y'all? My name is Hamer. I'm a member of the Central Committee for Real, as well as the Agitprop team, and I'm the founder and lead for our People's Freedom Farm.
All right.
Hi, y'all. I am a proud member of the cadre leadership of the Revolutionary Education and Action League. I'm also part of the operations and strategies, and also founder of the People's Free Kitchen. I do oversee the week-to-week operations, solidarity hubs, anything that has to do with our week-to-week operations. Thank you for having us here.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I am Georgina. I'm in the Agitation and Propaganda Committee. I'm our social media manager. I do a lot of the public speaking. And I don't know, I think you can notice I'm like super smiley. I'm super excited to be here, big fan. So yeah, super appreciative of the opportunity.
All right. Thank you guys so much for joining. It is a privilege and honor to have you. And we're trying to have more activists and organizers on. One of the reasons why is because you guys have your ears to the ground in these streets. And the thing is, a lot of times with our politicians, they do not. They will hear from the affluent. They'll hear from the people who are, landowners and people who are landlords and things like that. You guys are speaking to the unhoused. You're speaking to the people who live in poverty. You're speaking to just the regular old workers that go in and day out. And so you're speaking to the people who are really in this chat right now. And so I think it's important that we give voices to you. And maybe I'm out of turn for saying this, but there's some on the left in independent media that wouldn't dare have people like you on. And so therefore, we dare to have you on because it matters. And it means that people need to be listened to. And when they say, oh my God, how did Trump win? It's because they didn't have their ears to the ground. And so I wanted to make sure that we got you guys on. So thank you very much. Sabby, Rome, these are the folks that I was talking to you about. One of the first questions actually I want to get into especially is why start this, right? Why not just depend on the other 501c3s that's operating within Orlando and then say, well, why don't we just help them out? Why start this Revolutionary Education Action League? We can start off with Albizu.
So just being that, like, I've been in it since the beginning, right? But my whole life I've been an activist really since I was like a teen. And growing up, we engaged in the struggles for Black Lives Matter. Some of the founding members were Bernie Sanders supporters. Some of the founding members were involved with like, what's it called? Like other mutual aid programs that operate around Orlando. And what we saw was that all kind of gave way to the Democratic Party, right? Like out of BLM, we got like kind of, how do I put this? Like you would get like some sort of like Kamala Harris answer to that, right? Like that kind of institutionalized power. So we were very dissatisfied essentially with that kind of practice. So we sought to divorce ourselves from that kind of practice and find something new. And what we discovered is the kind of validity of Marxism-Leninism, as in the opening, like with the Black Panthers or communist parties all over the world, we see their success and we were inspired, and we want to make that relevant to the left again.
Who else wants to jump in and follow that?
Yeah, so I think for me, I'm not like a newer member of Real. I've been in it for over a year, but newer in comparison to the rest of people in this call. And for me, I think it's kind of the failure of the sort of interest group organizing or groups that organize around anything but class. I had previously been involved in like queer rights organizations, or even giving out, like the nonprofit sphere, like giving out food to the unhoused community. And it was this like perpetual failure and focus on the wrong thing. People not knowing how to talk to people that are not exactly like them, which is disturbing for me. My entire extended family is like really super conservative. And so this idea of people on the left, like not wanting to figure out how to interact with other working class people that might come from a different political background, was just not something that I could ever really wrap my head around. Because if we understand the American propaganda apparatus, we understand that it is incredibly pervasive, and that it should be our responsibility as Marxist Leninists, or as people that consider ourselves progressive, to fortify a winning team. And in the organizations or organizational spaces I was in previously, whether it was these queer interest groups or these nonprofits, I just saw that that was not, it was not the winning team. It was definitely very isolating. And coming into Real, I think that we've been taking a super different approach of more of marrying people across political stripes, which is something that's really important to me considering my family's background.
Perfect. Yeah. So one of the things that I also wanted to ask was about the work that you're doing on the ground, because that's important. First, I want to jump to Lila first, because you're also, you know, spearheading you and Hamer are spearheading the People's Freedom Farm, which is basically, you know, part of, you know, Real. And I kind of look at it as from farm to table, as what you guys are doing, but it's also with the notion of, okay, so we're going to bring you this food, but we're also going to bring you some education with it. So can you guys explain your program there? And then also subsequently, Vay, Albizu, and Georgie, if you guys can also add in your points as well.
Of course, I will say that the work that we do really grounds what the next steps are going to be. I will say, just coming from the experience of the development of our trying to follow up with City Hall, specifically on like ordinances, that kind of stuff. We had our ear on the ground before all of these passings. We would have never learned had we not been giving out food to the community, because they were the ones telling us what was happening. So I think in regards to the work that we've been doing on the ground, it has also really helped us connect with like the people that are actually experiencing these issues. And we are also able to build around that, like an actual base and a front to essentially move forward to, because we don't necessarily just want to hand off meals. We would like to really build more with the community. And I would love for Hamer to also speak more about like the connection in between, right, the food that we're growing, how we've been mitigating the waste of food as well, and how we try to always make sure that the food continues to stay within the community.
Thank you so much, Leela.
Yeah, you know, Leela said it. It's really, you know, our programs, the farm or the kitchen, are similar to what was brought up before with like the Black Panther survival programs, right? It's kind of like, it's the least we can do. It's what we know that we can start on immediately and have an impact. So originally, you know, Leela started the kitchen, and just from what we were able to put together, it helped us get out in the streets, get people food weekly, right, for whatever we could provide. And then the farm started up afterwards, and it was a great boon to help provide extra fresh produce for the meals that we were providing, right, and further build that base, whether that's working with other farms and doing gleaning to get produce to provide or create different sorts of products for people, like jams and things like that. And in general, right, whether it's the farm or the kitchen, education is always involved, because that is the revolutionary part of what we're doing, right? more than just the food or more than just being outside, growing plants, right? It is community building, meeting the people, learning what their needs are, learning what opportunities are there for them, and meeting leaders, uplifting them, building connections in the community. These sorts of things are what we're really interested in, and the programs are vehicles for that, for sure.
Just to let you know, Hamer, your audio seems to be a little bit glitchy. If you can come out and come back in.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little bit glitchy. You're also a little bit glitchy too. What's going on?
Wait, Albizu, go on mute for a second. You might also need to help out and come back in. James, you're on mute.
You on mute, James?
All right. So who else can hop in? Bay, Georgie.
Yeah, I can step in. Like Hamer said, we focus a lot on the education aspects of it when we're doing like this community work. So we'll sometimes pull up political education from a revolutionary in the past and like gain insight on their expertise, because we find that a lot of mutual aid organizations in the left just do it because it makes them feel good and it makes them feel like they are really doing something, you know, but when they're not reading and learning the theory behind things and then also executing that with action, they end up left behind and irrelevant.
Yeah, I also I think we didn't give a who is real before we actually started. So I guess just for context for people that might not be super familiar with us in the audience, we do have a program called People's Free Kitchen that gives around 150 meals, over 150 meals at this point, to the Paramore Food Desert pretty much every single week. And we also have a People's Freedom Farm that sustains that. And I think something that's important to me and something that I always tell people when I'm explaining what real is education and action, right? Like, we want people to listen to our political line, which is a very steadfast, anti-imperialist, anti-capitalist line. But we understand that expecting people to listen to us when they are super down on their luck and they're not seeing us provide anything, like, we have to convince people through the actual material labor that we're putting in to help them. And when they see that, you know, we're doing this all like out of our own pocket, like from community donations. And when people see we're providing more food and more means of subsistence than the government is, then that makes them have a little bit of a like, wait, so maybe this political line is something that I can rock with, because y'all are actually like providing what I need to see that the government has way more resources and is not providing. And it's also important, like, as we build out these alternative systems, like, we are not just trying to have multiple PFKs or multiple freedom farms. We are trying to get to a point where people understand how to take the means of production into their own hands, because if we're actually serious about being a political body, about actually controlling the means of production, then it's very important that like we learn how to do that with our own hands.
Interesting.
I just want to add something really quick. I just think it's really important what Georgina just said, because the reality is, it's like, if you just go to a community and you say, let me tell you about, you know, anti-imperialism, let me tell you about these things. Okay, that's fine. But if people are in need, their number one concern is going to be, how can I fix my need at this point in time, right? Like, if they're worried about like the cost of groceries, which I think a lot of people are at this point in time, like, that's going to be their number one concern, not so much about foreign policy. So to her point, like, if you're helping people and you're taking care of people in the community, then you see that as an opportunity to explain other things about them, right? To also get into like the revolutionary teachings, which I think is important.
Yeah, that's what we preach here in RBN a lot, is do not go in these neighborhoods with empty hands, because, you know, a lot of people like to write off, you know, young black man that's in the streets and going through hard times, being a victim of capitalism right now, saying that, oh, some of these people can't be reformed, we have to write them off and blah, blah, blah. But you coming to them and telling them things that they might already know, they might already been a victim to it, but you're not giving them anything else to do with this information, anywhere to go. So and I got a question for anybody on the panel. Y'all can take this up. Do you guys understand, when you build this and you're going so far with it, you put a target on your back? I hope you guys understand, what comes with this, because as Marxist-Leninists, as young leaders in America that's on the left, we don't live that long. So are you guys prepared, for the powers that be to come after you? And seeing multiple of these organizations go down from being infiltrated, what are you doing to because if I was in Florida right now and I'm looking to join you guys and I want to make sure that we won't be overthrown from the inside, what type of checks and balances are you doing to make sure that you don't let in any feds or anything like that?
I don't know who wants to take this, but is my audio okay?
Yeah, you.
Sweet. So on the question of infiltration, we take security very seriously in Real. We have a robust safety program. Jay, like whenever you're at the Solidarity Hub, we have safety plans. Well, we collaborate with local organizations with their safety plans as well. One of the main things that I think is pivotal is to have a community network, because Rome is absolutely right. We know that they're going to infiltrate it. And to a certain degree, you can't stop it because that's how pervasive these powers are, right? But what you need is a network of people who's going to ride for you, right? That has to be a problem, that they're going to, that you're going to shake stuff up. So first and foremost, our first line of security is the people. Second of all, is a commitment to the political line. We study every week. We study all the classical Marxist texts, right? And that's a reflection of your commitment. Because if you can't like explain the kind of thing that we're trying to do, if you can't explain the political program that we're trying to achieve, then why are you here, right? That's what comes up off the top of my mind. I also, before my audio went off, if I could just say really quickly about the People's Freedom Forum in the kitchen, I think it's important to say that that's the way I started organizing. And I think a lot of people start organizing by giving out food, engaging in mutual aid. But the issue is that you go into these mutual aid programs or whatever, and they either have an anarchist line who are not concerned with political power at all, or they are liberal NGOs. So you go into this space where it's an echo chamber of some liberal BS, right? So what we wanted to do is provide, if you want to do that, let's do that, but let's create a space where we can talk about Zionism or the effect of the Ukraine war, or a kind of other subjects that are revolutionary in nature.
I can also add to that. And, as Real, we also adhere to democratic centralism. We make sure, if we're going to make a decision as an organizing body, that we discuss it and we vote on it. But once that decision is made, we carry on with unity through action. And if you're not adhering with the org and that decision that was made, and you're trying to wreck or something, we're gonna have an eye on you, and we're gonna see what's going on, So.
Of course. One of the things to add to Albizu's point is here in Orlando, I'm sure you guys know about this, but I actually covered this on Sunday here on RBN, is that there actually was supposed to be a homeless shelter built on Cayley Avenue across the street from the supervisor of elections. And the people who are living in the Delaney area on the east side of Orange Avenue were like, no, we don't want that. When in reality, the people who really should have had a say are the people on the west side of Orange Avenue who live in the Paramore and Westmoreland area of Orlando. But instead, since they killed that, what they did instead was they said they got together with the Christian Service Center, which is a 501c3, And now they're trying to put 40 unhoused people on Greyhound buses. They're trying to retrofit Greyhound buses in order to house homeless people temporarily. And so this is part of what, and yes, Buddy Dyer is like, oh, this is a great idea, which is, he's a Democratic mayor here in Orlando. So it just goes to show how like some of the nonprofit industrial complex, they got to keep the problem there so that they have a reason to exist. When in reality, I see like organizations like Real is saying, we're trying to make it so that we don't have to exist anymore. Yeah. Right? Am I getting that correctly?
I think, I don't want to overspeak, but what we have to understand is that these politicians, our institutions, as well as the NGOs, are all bought and sold. They're already captured by financial entities. So though they play different roles, they all forward the same class interest. And that's why we push for political independence, some sort of political power for the working class that is independent of this finance network, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
I wanted to speak to you guys as a group, as a whole. I know there's going to be a lot of people out here. I don't know how fresh you guys are, but I've been around this fucking shitty ass nation a couple of times. So I got a little experience and, you know, building certain movements and whatnot. And what I'm not going to talk you guys out of is currency, is money. You know, I believe in, you know, get it by any means necessary. And however you can take it and give it is that is a great way of doing it. We got to be able to take these tools and use them for our to build our empire and our foundations, you know, as communists, as Marxist-Leninists. I don't know what you guys call yourselves, but there's a lot of people out there that will, you know, help you guys out. And Class Traders is a big part of the revolution. You know, they will fund the revolution. A lot of these people can't do what we can do. They can't say certain things, but they can fund us. And there's a lot of people out there. If you guys can email me, I'm gonna give you guys my email, and I'm gonna try to get you guys, you know, hook you guys up with a couple of grants and whatnot. Because if you really trying to build out there, you know, it's gonna take a lot. I'm not gonna lie. The library probably cost me like $500,000, and I'm not even done with it. So it can be a motherfucker. So, but don't run away from money, because money that's the only thing that makes shit move in this capitalist society. And if you have to use that money in order to better your people, use that opportunity and use that money, because if they were to take that money, they will use it against you and your communities, as we can see it. They're like they're doing right now, you know, cutting all these funds and Social Security, what it may be.
Yeah, I definitely want to hop in there. So, first of all, we are definitely not like we kind of ironically use the term like Gucci communist, like Albizu just said in the chat. But it is very, very important to us, the idea of like communists understanding commerce, understanding money. We actually just made a zine about it, called Peace, Land, and Bread. It's right here. But we, like, I think a lot of communists are like very anti-small business owner, or like anti-petty bourgeois, and want to like sever ties with them entirely. But if you guys have actually read Mao and his analysis of the class struggle, he talks about how the petty bourgeois and their resources can actually be repurposed to service the working class, as long as we can pull them away from the capitalists with our political education. And he analyzes that the petty bourgeois could actually be a great ally to the working class. And we see this. How are we able to keep People's Free Kitchen running in a sustainable way? A small business owner allows us to cook out of that restaurant. And I think communists are really obsessed with their moral purity testing and making sure that like they look entirely theoretically and morally correct at all times. So they end up like cutting off their allies. Again, I think Real would like to consider us ourselves a part of like the winning left, and money is 100% a big part of that. And I think that we did want to talk a little bit about a fundraiser that we're doing for a headquarters, actually, if we do want to get into that eventually. But right now we are actually trying to raise about $12,000 to get our own headquarters. You know, it's very important that communists don't only understand how to produce at a farm or don't only understand how to do self-defense, because we have self-defense programs as well where we teach people how to do grappling. It's also important that we understand how to run a facility, how to have a centralized base of operations. And there it is.
Yeah. So
Yeah, if I but before we like jump to the HQ fundraiser, I just wanted to speak to that as well. Like we are interested in being effective, right? We have a lot of programs that we do, but we're not interested in survival programs all the time, right? We want to provide economic development. We want people to be lifted up, not just ourselves, everybody in our community, all the people that we work and support with. So that's what we want to build towards. If we can provide jobs somehow, if we can provide different opportunities for people to get it, we want people to get it how they can, you know what I'm saying? And absolutely, we, of course, as a baseline, support workers. And that's what we want to build up. And in our city, you know, Rome was speaking about infiltration and kind of how we plan to survive. And I mean, we are in Florida, first of all. So like we're pretty used to different types of heat. And in our city in particular, you know, it likes to think of itself as like a liberal, progressive city, but it has a long history of fighting against the same initiatives that we are trying to support, whether that's the houseless, feeding people, you know what I'm saying? We have a huge police budget, just like many other major cities. And so and not to mention potentially other orgs or NGOs that have their own ideas, and you know, people can be mad about what we're doing, whether that's the city or other folks, but one thing that cannot be denied is our efficacy, right? And that's the point. We want to prove ourselves to the people. That's who we are beholden to. That's who we are accountable to. So all the work we do is consistent for them. That's why consistency is so important to us, so that they know that we are there for them and that's what we're doing this for. And beyond that, like Georgie mentioned, we are a militant organization. We practice self-defense. We have many members who train consistently every day, every week. And we not only offer that expertise between ourselves for encouragement to continue to train, to be better, to be sharper, but also giving that to the community, offering multiple spaces to train and learn to be more effective and to strengthen and harden ourselves in these times.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Sabby, Rome, did you have any questions further?
I was just gonna mention a thing about the resources, because I think this is one of the problems that a lot of us have on the left in general has, is we have a lack of resources, and it's across the board. And I think that we've noticed this too, like with the RBN chapters, like JB has obviously Orlando, Rome and Detroit, me in Boston, Nick in Kansas City. Even with the chat, like this is something that we've run into, right? Which is, how do we get the funding, and you know, is it going to be enough to do what we need to do? So I think that fundraising has worked out pretty well for us. I think we could say that, Rome and JB. But the reality is, like, not everyone is able to fundraise the way that we are, right? Like, not everybody has a YouTube channel where they can, like, you know, not everybody has a dynamic presence on Twitter like Rome does, where they can use those vehicles. So one of the things I was going to ask is, what are some of the ways or some advice that you would give to other people who are interested in doing what you do, but maybe in their community? What tip would you give them for trying to fundraise, how to get that message out there if they don't have like that presence?
I would say, honestly, start with the people in your community, like the smaller businesses, the people that you see, even farmers. Like, there is, in every level of food production, waste. And that's something that we've seen and we've been able to take in and find creative ways to continue to keep that in the system. So honestly, and I'll tell very bluntly, how we started was really with $20 in our cash app and seeing like, okay, how much we can make with this. And then now we know next week what's the expectation and what can we move forward to. It really starts by doing. And I do think, like, of course, the situation is different within each community, right? But I will say, you will speak to a lot of business owners and say, like, I always wanted actually a program like this to be in my community, but I couldn't make it happen. And that's something like, and where we're working at. When they started the business, they thought always to have in some capacity a way to be connected to community, but they didn't even know what that would look like. So it really goes to show, like, starting the conversations within community, people do see that there's gaps to fill, and showing them that there is the labor and people have the will to do it. So I'd say starting there has been like one of the things that has helped us at least have a steadier ground.
Mhm. One of the things that I'm sorry, somebody has something to say.
I was gonna ask them, you know, what all the stuff going around right now. We see people are being, you know, abducted by the government and being shut down. Degrees are being taken away. People are being locked up for just being activists. You know, not even being radical. I would say they just, you know, shouting their disappointments. To speak, what would you say to a person who would like to join, but out of fear they are, you know, kind of shaky on it? What would you say to the people who see the government retaliating against people on the left and would like to join, but is still a little bit shaky or on the fence about certain things like this?
Well, I think the first thing that I would say is I do think it's an understandable fear, especially for people that exist in like particularly like battered communities. But something that I saw after October 7th actually was someone said, like, we have so little time on this earth, we might as well be brave. And that was something that really, really resonated with me. I just don't think as things get more hectic, like if you really have the passion for it, I just don't think that we have the time to be anything but brave.
Yeah, and I think that's so powerful. You know, we, like we were talking about earlier, we focus a lot on like safety within our org and making sure that we're effective while also not like poking at the government too hard to like crack down on us, you know. But it really is a choice of bravery, you know. Like, you can see I'm wearing the independent Puerto Rico flag, and if you know the history of the liberation movement in Puerto Rico, you know, like, there was a lot of violence that was thrown on my people who were considered U.S. citizens, you know. But that fight continues on to this day, and like that need for liberation against imperialism is a constant, you know. And we can't do anything if we just are in fear.
If I could add to that too, like, one thing that I'm very aware of, right? Just experiencing the last like 8 years or so, when Trump got elected, there was like, oh, it's Russian interference. Then Biden got elected, people like, oh, it's Chinese interference. So we see at a certain level, there's a kind of breakdown of like the institutions that's happening already. It don't matter if you're an activist. A lot of this stuff is untenable. They're pushing World War III, right? And more of that, those contradictions are just not tenable. So this kind of like drop in like the legal system or whatever, it's going to come with a lot of scary things. So that's a reality you have to accept. So you might as well understand that there's strength in numbers, join an organization, be trained in that and the study of like how activists move and stuff like that, and join the ranks and sharpen yourself in that way.
Mhm. Actually, you speak to a really good point, because it was Kwame Ture, who I'm trying to channel right now. That's also my birthday twin. Hey. Anyway, but Kwame Ture, one of the things that he actually said is that this is absolutely necessary. If you want to change the system, you need to be organized in order to do it. And I think one of the biggest issues that we have is that, and this, we have to capitalize our minds, right? Because the thing is that we're constantly having capitalist brain thinking, well, I got to do this, by myself, and the problem is a lot of times we don't realize is that that's what the capitalists want you to think, because they want you to go in alone. And this is the whole hero mentality, the single hero by themselves going in to save the day and then free everybody. No, baby, that's not how it works. The people free themselves, and to free themselves, they organize in order to make it happen. See, this is the problem. And look, trust me, I love my superhero movies, but this is the problem with the MCU. This is a problem with DC. This is a problem with the comic books. This is a problem with all these different things that they always want to talk about. That single one person, the individualism that saves everybody else. You're not going to have a savior. If you want to see a savior, look in the mirror.
I mean, JB, this is what they do with Bernie Sanders. They put him against this whole oligarchy and say, hey, he's going to save us, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us felt the same way back in the days,
Yeah.
or kind of similar, like, oh, he's going to take on the Democrats and the Republicans. And like, no, it don't work like that. And we were speaking about this yesterday on my show, that individualism is the reason why we don't have the things that we had back in the days. It's the reason why we are, striving for, all these rights, trans rights, women rights, black rights, civil rights, all these things are being reversed because the individualism that has been pushed in our communities, and now we go at it alone. We literally me against the world, when it should be, you and your community together, or the world working as one. And I wanted to get that out to you guys, because I just want to see where your mind was at, because Malcolm X was once asked, "Are you afraid of death?" And he said, "I'm already dead." You know what I'm saying? I already move like a dead man. There's nothing to fear. And that's to everybody who's watching this. If you are in Orlando, if you're close to Orlando in Florida somewhere, want to join this organization, these guys sound legit. I wouldn't put you guys in harm's way. So
I want to
make it real, and we can get some shit going on the ground and get something permanent. Get something permanent, because one thing I have learned about life is it's not about you. It's about what you leaving behind, what you build for the next generations. I always tell you guys, I'm pretty sure you heard it before, walk in the cement while it is wet. Don't let the empire lay down a foundation and then you wait till the cement dry, because once you let that cement dry, they're going to tell our kids and our grandkids that we walk this path, we walk that path, we stay quiet. No, walk in the cement while it's wet, and they can see what path that you were taking. Be unruly to the empire and make your mark while you still can.
Yeah, I want to say too, not only is it about bravery and acknowledging the situation we find ourselves in, but it is about embodying a certain discipline as well, right? That's super important for us culturally within our org, as far as operational security, right? There are a lot of tips and practices and kind of lifestyle changes that are much easier to incorporate and learn being a member of an organization that will help keep you safe in a surveillance state, keep you safe in a city that is antagonistic to whatever your situation may be. Truly, like, all we have is each other. So we need to practice these skills together and learn to depend on each other for that sort of thing and maintain that discipline.
I kind of want to share like a philosophical view that I have about individualism, because that's something that I've been thinking about a lot lately. Like, I'm getting to the point, I make the joke like when I'm at events all the time, like I don't even recognize individuals. Like if you walk up to me, like what organization do you represent? Right? What body do you part of? How do you move? Because really, when you think about an individual, what is an individual? Who is Albizu? Albizu is a Puerto Rican. That is a social designation. Albizu is a man. That is a social grander designation. Albizu is a Floridian. That is a social. The individual cannot be understood without the actual social greater context of who you belong. Like I don't understand myself as just an individual. I'm an echo of a lot of history that is culminated right now, and it's up to me to continue that echo in time. And that doesn't end with me, you know? So individualism is 100% something toxic when people just like live for just their petty individual goals or whatever. I want something to echo through time.
That's beautiful. And speaking of echoing through time, you're trying to make your mark here in Orlando. And one of the things that I want to talk about, because you guys have the People's Freedom Farm, the People's Free Kitchen. You guys are writing and creating, articles, books to be able to teach the people, giving speeches. You guys are going to city council meetings, contending against the city council of Orlando, contending with the mayor, Buddy Dyer. You guys are going out there, not only doing your distro every single week to help feed the unhoused in the community, but then you also do the solidarity hubs, which also offer a third space that has disappeared for the people. And now you guys are embarking on a new phase in trying to establish a headquarters. And so I just wanted to share this as well, because this is important. Real is creating a headquarters, but they need some assistance. When it comes to mutual aid, I am a firm believer in helping the helpers. And so I put pinned at the top of the chat the link to this this donation for through GiveButter, so that they can be able to raise the money to be able to have a headquarters. This is important because number one, you'll see exactly what they're trying to do. Also, I put their link tree in the description below, so you guys can go. If you guys really want to see what Real is doing and People's Free Kitchen is doing, go to their Instagram. Go to their Instagram and watch the reels and things like that. Please go ahead.
I will say our Instagram is not in our link tree because our Instagram has the link tree. So our Instagram is going to be real.orl, real.orl.
Okay, thank you so very much for that. And I will put that also in the description as well.
And don't forget, you guys, I don't know if you guys are up to it, but what I do with the library, I also have an open door policy. So if anybody is too drunk to go home, or trying to get an abusive household for a couple of hours, couple of days or whatnot, we got an open door policy. And it's another way of getting grant money from the state. You can actually get money from the state housing people, as long as you got a working bathroom, a kitchen, and a couple of cots, whatever the hell you call it, beds. You can be able to get money from the government to be able to pay your light bills, make sure there's more food in the refrigerator that the people will need and whatnot. It's just another way of getting more means of what you need. And it's a couple of loopholes out here that we do really need to take advantage of as socialists and communists. You can't be afraid of getting that money, because it's your money anyway. It was going to go to fucking Nestle or or one of these big ass corporations anyway. You might as well use it for the greater good. So
yeah, I really do want to hone in on the importance for anyone watching, like, to donate to the headquarters. Maybe this is the first time you've ever heard of us, but you will see, like, on our Instagram, we have an events highlight, we have a PFK highlight, we have a farm highlight. We've been active for 4 years now, and we have fed like thousands and thousands of people, work that we do weekly. You know, we have edu forums, we have movie nights. We create not only spaces where people can learn how to produce and eat, but we also create spaces where people can learn like very, very important things. You also see that we have a radio show where we talk about things that are contentious among the left, for instance, like the sex industry. We have reels of volunteers talking about things that are like things that they would like to see from the headquarters, like a resource hub, because Florida is prone to natural disasters. It would be really important to have a space where people know that they can go to congregate in the event that that would happen. There's just like, there's a lot of things that we do that it would be so helpful to actually have a space where like that we can rely on, not like a business that's rent keeps getting hiked up so then it has to close. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of informational content on our Instagram, which again is real.orl. So
Yeah,
if you're looking to donate to anybody, please.
I also want to plug our TikTok at Build Real. We do a lot of content on like talking about the state of the left and how we've kind of been a failure for the last like 60 years, you know, and how we can grow and move forward as winners, you know. So our TikTok is at Build Real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
On the point
and
of
if I
our,
can-
oh, go ahead, Hamer. Okay, so on the point of our HQ, I just want to say that us making this leap is a reflection that I don't adopt a revolutionary veneer or like a revolutionary politic out of some sort of like rebellious, like teenage, like angst or something. We believe in the validity of our program and the validity of our politics, and we do believe that they are legitimate, and legitimately instantiating it in a headquarters with a program with proper procedures and things of that nature is an example of that. And that's what we aim to do, to instantiate our revolutionary politic.
And it's not just for us. Like when we talk about getting a headquarters, it's not just because Real needs a headquarters. It's because the Central Floridian working class needs a headquarters. We have a lot of partner organizations that would also be able to hold events out of the space. There's so many people that we know that it would just be so helpful, like on a broader level for all of Central Florida.
Yeah. I mean, just some of the examples, you have like the Students for Justice in Palestine, you have, Florida Palestine Network, you have, oh my goodness, they have workers in the name. I'm blanking on their name. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. But there's, many different organizations within Orlando that actually also do work in their different areas, whether they're, Black, liberation groups, whether they're indigenous liberation groups, they're queer liberation groups, things like that. So you guys can also partner with them. So it's actually really just a collaboration. It's an effort to allow more collaboration.
And also anyone who is seeing that and sees that we only have $1,000 of $12,000, do not let that deter you, because we are actually having an in-person fundraiser where most of these funds should be raised. So it's not a pipe dream. Believe in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So that actually is a great segue into what you have coming up this Saturday, starting at noon, if I'm correct.
Yep, right after the farm. We'll be having our fundraiser at the farm space on Saturday from noon until, the fundraiser itself ends at like 6:30 or something, and then we have an edu forum right afterwards from 7 to 9.
Yeah. So let me share this as well so that you guys can see. This is what Real has going on this Saturday here in Orlando. So it's Revolutionary Groundings fundraiser for the Real HQ, political education, skills workshops, defense grappling games, field day games and activities, local vendors, and Real Edu Forum. So this is going to be this Saturday, March 29th from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the People's Freedom Farm. It's going to be 4400 North Powers Drive, Orlando, Florida, 32818. So if any of you are in Central Florida and want to contribute want to help, want to build community, come through, pull up, and because I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there the entire time. All right, because JB gonna cut up. So if you guys want to meet me, I'll be out there as well, because I want to make sure that we get out there and say, and let the people know everything. Georgina, yes, please.
Oh, no, I was just saying there's like a reel on the account that says like pretty much everything that's happening throughout the fundraiser day. So if anyone wants to watch that, come join your local communist org reel as we fundraise for headquarters. It's the whole itinerary of the day.
Oh, this one right here? Okay. Let me see. Okay, I can't play the music because we might get copyright claim.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately,
Good
but
call.
it's a Tupac song, which means it's lit.
Although I do love that song.
Yeah, it's a good song, but we can't play it. But this is just you guys are just showing. And actually, I sat in on one of the the self-defense, and I was thoroughly impressed. And then I was also there for the the emergency first aid meeting, when you guys were being taught by, I think the nurse was a veteran as well, that was teaching you all first aid and how to be able to apply emergency first aid, which I got to learn quite a bit. And then I was also there for the People's Freedom Farm. I actually interviewed Leela for the People's Free Kitchen, and then I also interviewed at the People's Free Farm. Hamer is actually one of the people who I actually got to interview that's present here. And so that was amazing. By the way, the food is delicious because it is grown basically naturally and organically. So, that's one of the things that I really appreciate, and I just wanted to share. All right.
Appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
Zoa wants to ask you guys, how do you start organizing locally, even if it's just one person?
Can't be one person.
Can't be one person. Absolutely.
Go ahead.
I can say you got to be, we like to say, a social socialist. You got to be a member of your community. You got to be out there talking to people, meeting, be a regular at some business that you support. You know what I'm saying? And have something to offer as well. Be an active participant in your community. And that's how you start to build these connections, because all this time we've had no headquarters, right? So when we meet to organize and do our work, that is thanks to the generosity of a business that we know and that we've had a long-standing relationship with in the community. When our kitchen, right, we started out in our own kitchens, making it work with $20. And because of the people we've known, we've been able to work in multiple kitchens, right, to be able to up our production and scale this. Our farm is at a church that we made connection with through other folks that we know in our community, right? None of this can be done by yourself, especially because of the amount of resources that it takes, right? You gotta meet people and start putting it together.
It's also important too that when you do meet those people, the importance of the political line and the importance of democratic centralism, something that I say a lot and that other organizers in the community say a lot, is that there's no point in rebuilding the wheel. If you see something in your community that's already working, it is just kind of, we should put aside our egos, right? We should go in and study and see what's happening there. And we should also study, we as Real have done a lot of studying of the Black Panther Party, of the Communist Party of America back when they were cool. And so it's really, really important that we do that study and that we understand why organizations failed, why they succeeded. It is a lot of I don't know, intellectual. Well, what's the word? Y'all get what I'm saying. I'm sure you understand.
Education, educating yourself, making sure that you have the winning line and the winning theory that has carried other nations like China to a better place, to be eventually a place that is better than America.
Absolutely.
Here's a good question that American brought up. If you're farming in a church, can you receive tax exemptions? Good question.
We ourselves are not the church or a part of that entity. So as far as that goes, not necessarily. And as well, Real, as a part of our effort to up our productive forces really and get the resources we need, we have formed an LLC to protect ourselves on a tax basis, right? And we looked into like the different designations, and because of what we know about this country, businesses are offered extensive freedoms and rights, right? So we decided to go with being an LLC in order to protect ourselves from the IRS and such. So that does prohibit us from getting tax exemption on a lot of in certain situations. But again, these partnerships are super, super important.
Yeah, I got you. Unfortunately, one of the things that we learned, and I know Sabby and we learned this, is that with the 501c3, if you're a 501c3, you cannot criticize political parties or politicians. So that's another thing that a lot of people don't know. So a lot of times these 501c3s, yeah, they're not allowed to criticize politicians. So, and those of us who are on the left, we freely have to criticize politicians, because the thing is, you have to provide, the contrast. And so, yeah, the way this system is set up is it's funny how they will see us as product, but they'll see businesses and corporations as people.
No, thank you for adding that, JB. A lot of people don't know that about the 501c3.
Also, we are doing
one way I may. I'm sorry.
I was going to say we are doing an EduForum on the nonprofit industrial complex after our fundraiser at 7 p.m. And we are planning on recording that and eventually putting that up online paid because we are Gucci communists trying to get money. So keep that in mind. If that's a subject that you're interested in, that will be coming in the future.
Another way of going around that is making sure that whatever your organization is, make a different one. Put a different name on it. Same people in leadership, nothing changed. Like Tour for the Poor is my 501c, and I can't say too much. I can have my communist flags out. I can be a part of a political group or even mercenaries or whatever. I just can't say nothing about Democrats, Republicans, Independents. But if people in the CARE Party come and they said, "Hey, fuck Democrats, capitalism has failed you," I have nothing to do with, this party who just popped up when I was feeding people. That's them. Yes, we are working, we are in cahoots, but my name ain't on that paperwork. So that's another way of getting around it, is starting a whole new group for your 501c. If you don't want, if you want that freedom to be able to judge harshly, judge these politicians harshly, you're just gonna have to build another group up, different name, and that's one loophole around there, I believe.
Putting us on game. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's very true. One of the things that I think that is also very important is, a lot of people are, with the question of a lot of people going, how do I start? Do you have a friend? Mm-hmm. Do you have a friend? Do they have an agreement? Like, for instance, when it comes to just like making sure that people are fed, it's crazy how easy it is to start. And then once you start, you're like, can I scale this up? Right? Look, I don't care if you go to the store, get some Pillsbury dough and cut up some chocolate chip cookies, put them in the oven, and then wrap them in Ziploc bags and hand them out to the unhoused. Do that. Go ahead, do that. And then do it, and make sure you do it with a friend. And then you're like, can we buy 2 packs? Can we buy 4 packs? Can we start making the cookie dough ourselves? Mm-hmm. I have a Cash App. I have a Venmo. Can we get some people to donate a little bit so that we can make a little bit more? Or maybe we don't just have to do cookies. Maybe we can just do something simple, and then grow that. And then your other friends will be like, "Hey, I see you're doing this. Hey, come on, join us." And then you start to also add education with that. Like, hey, we don't have to depend on the government for all this. You know, we can do this ourselves, and it could be more worker centered. So let's do that. It's that. Stop thinking it's more complicated than what it is. That's the thing. It's not. It ain't that deep, baby. It's not. It is simple, but the problem is, what's simple is also damaging to the present system.
Yeah.
Right. Remember, have you guys ever watched War of the Worlds, the newest one that came out a few years ago with Tom Cruise?
I don't watch military propaganda.
I saw that one.
Of course, yeah, the U.S. military. But
that was years ago, right? That was years ago, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? What defeat? I'm gonna spoil the movie. So if you guys don't want to, close your ears if you don't want to spoil.
I don't think I'll ever watch anything with Tom Cruise in it.
Okay, that's fine. You're not missing out. So one of the points was they couldn't figure out how to destroy the aliens. But what destroyed the aliens was the fact that birds were landing on the big old alien machines. And the birds had germs, bacteria. And that's what infected the aliens and caused the aliens to die. So it was something simple. You sneeze on them. It's not that deep. The thing is that the capitalist system is basically this big behemoth on toothpick legs. All you got to do is, like Savvy says, sweep the leg, and boom, you got him. But that's what you're doing. You're literally sweeping the leg, and you can do it from your city. And people are saying, like, well, how can I do this in my city? Yep. You literally look. All you takes is one person and a friend. That's it, yep. And you can start. And people are like, well, I want something like this in my city. Start it. Why don't you be the one to do it? And so that's all I got to say. If you guys have any final thoughts before we end,
I just wanted to say, and adding on to what you were saying, JB, you got to remember a lot of these people have family members that is victim of capitalism also. So when I'm out at the homeless shelters and whatnot, and like we are doing big barbecues, everybody step to the side and ask me how can we get down with you, blah, 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 this and that. And, just helping somebody might get their family members involved. It don't really take a lot at all. Sometimes only take a couple of $100 for some good propaganda. You can make it look like thousands, and you only make it look like that because we have been starved so much. So when you come around, you always got something in your hands, whether that be clippers or food or another way to fucking box, whatever it fucking may be, you can teach. But you got to remember that it's a lot of people out here that have family members that is victims of capitalism. I mean, really out here, that's really down. Like my sister is, really not in her right mind, I should say, and she has a place to go. She don't want to come home. So I make sure, I go up to the homeless shelter and everybody out there that's helping. We get volunteers a lot, people out there that's helping. We make sure that we can add on to what they're doing, connect with them, and then we start a movement like that. But it's not hard at all. The hardest part is keeping it going. The hardest part sometimes is keeping it funded. And that's why I tell communists and socialists alike to get it by any means necessary, because they have been robbing our communities fucking before we was even born. They have been robbing us. They owe us reparations and a lot of other shit. So get that shit however you can, and use it for the greater good.
Yeah, we 100%. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Something I do definitely want to say is we like I was talking about earlier, like it's very important to learn from people that understand better how to do these things. And also when it comes to like organizing with a friend, like there needs to be a very strict political guidance, like from jump. Like the politic can't be something that is secondary. It has to be something that is immediate, because that's the way that you protect yourself and the people around you. When we talk about like maybe moving into something immediately with a decentralized structure, it's the hierarchy of tyranny, you know, the hierarchy of anarchy, you know, like it's just necessarily, if you get together with a few friends and there's not a designated leader or a designated politic, there is going to end up being a leader. There is going to be someone that has to do all of the labor. So we need to know immediately what we're getting into. And that for us, what helped us was the Marxist-Leninist methodology of democratic centralism. And that has been what's able to make sure that our programs have been able to survive for the years that they've been able to survive for, and why anarchist mutual aid groups usually fall apart after a year of making one tiny old grandma do all of the labor.
Yeah, Fred Hampton stressed the importance of education and reading and making sure that you know how the world works and how to build these systems and these programs. So like reading is a number one thing that you should be doing as well, on top of the organizing.
Mm-hmm. So, somebody wanted to add something else?
I was just gonna say, if we're going into closing statements, I have like my thoughts, but if you want to preface that.
Well, yeah, part of the closing statements, and due to the sake of time, we can keep it to like 30 seconds or less. But actually, this is actually a really good question. If you can incorporate this into your closing statement as well, from Zoya, it says, what is the most important lesson each of you learned organizing? We can start off with you, Albizu. Then we can work into Hamer, Leela, Georgie, and Vay.
My most important lesson that I learned is kind of what Georgie said. Like, when you come into organizing, don't just like think that everybody's your friend just because like you're sharing the same kind of work. Lay some ground rules and make sure that people follow those ground rules, because people will, like, not everybody who's like a progressive leftist like has the best intent. In terms of closing statements, I just want to say I'm absolutely honored to be on this show. I've been a huge fan of you, Sab. I've been a huge fan of you, James, and as well as Rome. I've seen the doc with Right Brain, so it's like super cool. I want to say we talked a lot about our mutual aid. It is a testament to our commitment. But that is not what we're just interested in doing. We're interested in building broad coalition. Yes, we are unabashedly communist, but we want to build a broader mass movement that is in contention with the ruling class agenda. And with that, see my time.
All right, thank you so very much.
Yeah, a lesson that I've learned. I think probably it is, learn to embrace the work, really. Find joy, find satisfaction in the labor, whether that is reading, studying, learning to expand your consciousness, or whether that's the actual work of getting out there, training, providing a service, things like that, right? Something that has been crucial for not only my development in an organization, but my development as an individual, as a human being, has been embracing discipline and criticism and self-criticism, right? These are like the constant mirrors or the defining pillars of how we hold ourselves up and stay solid as organizers and as members of our community, right? We have to be constantly defining and redefining ourselves and getting sharper so that we can be a true servant of the people and help lead what we're trying to see happen.
Absolutely. Leela.
I have to say, and it's been one of the biggest lessons that I've learned since organizing with Rio, has been truly the power of structure and the power of being able to build something that ends up creating much more efficient systems of care. I think in general, I've honestly been organizing through the rainbow in regards of anarchist, liberals, and having a political line really delineated us and like really help us make something much better and different. And another thing that I did want to just share in general, we didn't just arrive to this conclusion. It was really through practice that we realized that there definitely is a better way to organize. So I want people that, right, these terminology may feel big and may be deterring you from wanting to start organizing, but it is truly through like engaging with people that do have other knowledge too, that you end up getting a little sharper too. So it's something I'm deeply grateful to be organizing in with such brilliant comrades that I feel like I'm constantly feeling like I just want to be better.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think probably the most important lessons that I've learned, and I've been kind of repeating them just throughout the stream, is you should stay humble, and the importance of self-criticism, the importance of not taking things personally, the importance of like understanding that camaraderie is a deeper relationship than friendship, and one that should make you understand that like when you are in an organization with someone, I wouldn't say necessarily always assume the best intentions, because you don't know exactly like where they're coming from, but it is very important that you respect the institution of your organization. So if your organization says that criticism and self-criticism is important, then criticism and self-criticism is important. You know, when you make a mistake, whether that's in like the theoretical realm or just like organizationally, if you planned something in an incorrect way, when people are giving you criticism and when your organization believes in the necessity of criticism, it's very important to take that not on a personal level and to respect that and to respect your comrades. And also just I'm a much younger organizer than most of the people that I organize with, and that also means like humbling yourself and understanding that there are people here that know a lot more than I do and have done a lot more work than I have, and I need to like I tried to do it on my own and that didn't work out. There's a major importance in looking towards those that are more experienced than you, regardless of whether they're older or younger. If they have more experience in the arena, they have more experience in the arena.
Definitely. Bay.
Yeah. Biggest thing that I've taken away is you know, it's similar to what Georgie was saying, is that, you know, be willing to learn and grow, and being willing to learn and grow. Because when I joined Real a couple years ago now, and when I joined Real, I was basically the height of my political development at that time was just like voting for Bernie, you know. And now today, I've learned so much more and have taken so much more away, and I'm confident in what we're doing in our future, of building a working class movement. So just be willing to learn, to study, to take self-criticism, and to give out criticism as well if it's justified, and place the importance of the work and what you believe in and liberation as the forefront, and that'll carry you to places where you need to go, as an organization and as a person.
All right. Thank you so very much for all of you joining. It was a privilege. It was an honor. And I absolutely enjoyed this conversation. The truth be told, I wish we can go 3 hours, but we can't. But you know I can talk. But it is so good to see all of you here. I will see all of you on Saturday. And thank you so very much. Please do not be a stranger to RBN. Please do not be a stranger to my channel. We will love to have you guys on to talk about news stories, to talk about what's going on, and also what you guys have going on even further. And we wish you massive success on getting this HQ up as well, and your further actions down the road. So thank you.
Thank you
I'll
so
be going
much.
there in Florida. See y'all soon, man.
Thank you so much, y'all.
Thank y'all.
Easy.
It's been an honor.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Whoop, sorry. You belong in center anyway, Saps. Anyway.
One thing I wanted to add about organizing, right? Because I think this was one of the questions I had years ago, like how do you start and stuff like that. The best thing that I recommend, and JB and Rome, you can probably speak to this as well.
Yeah.
Before you try to start something on your own, try to join something that is already established.
That's also
yeah, that way you get the experience, right? And you can find like those organizations, organizing and activist organizations, and the way a lot of people find them is on Facebook. There's a lot of announcements. So say we will be at such and such park to protest this. Going to protests, going to rallies, those are usually hosted by an organization. Usually that's how it goes. That's how a lot of people end up getting involved with organizing. Or some people get involved just by Googling like organizations or whatever topic that you're passionate about. You could just Google that and say near me, like police brutality events or organizations against police brutality near me. And it'll show you all the different events and stuff like that in the organizations. And then you have to show up. Like that's the hardest part, I think, is that people may find the information, but you only get so far if you actually walk out the door. And I think that's the hardest part sometimes, is like showing up and also showing up by yourself. And you're like, I've never done this before. I don't know the people here. Is everybody going to look at me weird? Like, what do I do? But from my experience, and you guys can talk about this, my experience is that most organizations within the activist space tend to be understanding towards those who are just starting out and are curious.
Yeah. In fact, to add to your point, Sabs, I discovered Real Orlando at a pro-Palestinian protest.
So there you go.
I was walking down the street, and one of the members of Real came up to me because they were actually doing security for the event. See, Real, they also collaborate with pro-Palestine protesters. And they were doing security for the event to make sure that everybody was safe. And one of them approached me and said, "Hey, I watch you guys on RBN." See? And they were like, "It's nice to finally meet you." And he was like, "I'm a part of Real." And next thing you know, I started looking at them, and then I saw what they were doing. I was like, let me check these guys out. And here we are today. And so all because I dared to actually go out there and support groups that were being, marginalized, like the Palestinians. It could be indigenous groups. It could be Black groups. It could be disabled groups, what have you, LGBTQ. And you can find these groups that are out there, and then you can start in that way. Look, guess what? Tim, part of the RBN Orlando chapter. He said, that's how I felt at the RBN meeting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, hey. Cam felt the same way. KD Lewis, he's in the chat as well. He felt that same way, but they just joined, and we said, welcome. Your presence is the most powerful thing.
Yep. And even if you don't like everything you see, you can always take it as a learning experience, because a lot of us on the left started with DSA, and not a lot of us have moved on, made our own organizations and chapters and whatnot. I seen that DSA was avoiding Black neighborhoods, and like they're going some gentrified neighborhoods in Detroit, but they were never going 6 Mile. They were never going the East Side, and nothing like that. And I feel like I think y'all missing a good chunk of people here. So take what they do, what they don't, write it all down, and then you can move on with what you got, with the information that you had gathered. It's not going to be easy as the next man make it. A lot of us have been out here for fucking years, and we have to build a foundation to actually be stable enough to handle all these people, up under one tent. So you just start with something light, then just take what you know and take some of their people. I'm guaranteeing, if you don't like what's going on, if you feel like they're not being strong enough or loud enough on certain things, you're not the only one that's feeling like that. Talk to them people in their organizations. Take the people from the organizations, or infiltrate the organizations, I would say, and start your own.
Well, I will say this as well. The very first protest that I went to, I was really nervous. Like I showed up and I was like, okay, what now? Like you don't know until you go. Like you really don't. And just, FYI, people aren't going to be expecting you to know everything, like especially in the beginning. So.
Yep, absolutely. It's like, because it's like being on a mountain. If we're at the summit, we're not going to expect people at the bottom to know exactly what it's like to be here at the top. Yeah. It's like that's unreasonable. So it's like, we're like, hey, don't go that way. Go this way. It's easier, because we already went through the hard stuff. And we're like, hey, go this way. And we place markers along the way. Yeah. Right?
The same thing with the gym. It's the same thing I say about the gym. Like if it's your first time going to the gym and your first time, let's go with lifting weights, not cardio. Your first time lifting weights, you might look around in the weight lifting area and see people like dudes like bench pressing like 200 pounds, like, that kind of stuff. And you may feel intimidating, like, oh my God, like I can't lift that or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like when you're starting out, you do what you can, just remember that guy that you see lifting 300 pounds may have started with 10. Yeah. So,
Yeah, absolutely. When I first started going to the gym, I went on the elliptical machine. I only was able to last 5 minutes. 2 weeks later, I was going an hour and a half.
Man.
So
kick my savvy ass.
Yeah. So I mean, that's one of the things. And I want to also say, if you guys have not, go ahead and make sure to go to their link that's pinned in the comments. One of the things I want to do before we get into the comments, I just want to do a patron shout out, because this is why we do what we do. Because here at RBN, we're trying to do what basically Real is doing, but we're just more of a media arm, right? We're just a media organization that also does work on the ground. And whether you start your own organization or you join an organization, this is what we're helping to push you to do. Because we realize that the Democratic parties and Republican parties, and really just this system in itself, is not sustainable. None of us really can do, this system's not worth saving. So we have to preserve ourselves, build dual power, and organize. And you guys allow us to be able to inform as well as to encourage, and allow us to be able to do the work that we're doing, because without you guys, we will not be able to do this work so readily available. And so, it is deeply appreciated, for all of you guys who continuously support us and, are behind us every step of the way. So I just want to thank you guys so much for, being there for us as patrons and as just people who give support and kind words and words of encouragement. And sometimes even when we, misstep, the kind critique as well. So thank you so much to everybody for that and all the patrons. Also, just one thing I want to say. I did the announcement yesterday, but I also want to make sure I put it on a live stream. I have been fully listed for a kidney transplant list. So I can get a call anytime for me to get a kidney. So I also have, if you guys would like to donate a kidney because you guys feel like you guys could be a match for a living donor, you guys can go to tgh.org/living kidney donor. And even if you're not a match for me, you could be a match for somebody else. There's over 109,000 people waiting for organ donations within the United States. Over 90,000 of them are waiting for kidneys alone. So if you guys would like to help somebody, besides me, go ahead and get yourself tested anywhere in the lower 48, especially. And by the way, if you guys are concerned about cost, you guys don't have to worry about cost, because my insurance will cover everything. So just let you guys know.
Big baller. What? I ain't never heard a nigga say that.
That's the whole program of transplantation, because the thing is, like, there may be somebody who may be a match, but they ain't got no insurance, and it's like, they're like, no, the insurance will pick you up and cover you for all your medical expenses involving that. So just let you know. But thank you so very much for that.
If I want to recover, my brother, you got mine.
Okay, Sabs, we'll see you later. I'll do what do you have coming up on at 8:00?
There's I'm covering 5 news stories, but we're starting out with a panel. So Ron Pacone, Zeneb, and Jason. Well, there's 2 Jasons, Jason and Jason. Jason Call being one of them, and Jason Chawamba. You guys have seen him on there before. We're starting out with a panel discussing the oligarchy tour and a path forward. So yeah.
Ooh, that's gonna be good. So we got to race out of here, Rome, so that we can catch Sabs live.
Bye.
Okay. All right. See you later, Sabs. All right. The principal's gone. Now we can cut up. You know me, Rome. No, but let's get to the super chats. Yeah, definitely Ying Eclipse. There's going to be a panel. Let me get to, I'm going to check the Rumble to see if we have any Rumble rants. I don't think we do. No Rumble rants. Okay. And then we can just get to super chats really quick. So let's start off with the first super chat. Thank you so much to Otto Carnage. Says American police forces are grabbing people off the street and disappearing those people for speaking out against the genocide in Gaza. Yeah, it's absolutely true. And unfortunately, this is not new for what the United States has done. Just look at what happened in Ferguson with the protesters who were, during the Black Lives Matter protests for Mike Brown. They also were disappearing them as well. So this isn't new. They do this. Some of these activists wind up dead, and they'll try to make it look like a suicide. It ain't. And so they'll do things like that. But yes, they will disappear people just for speaking out and speaking truth to power. So
and this is just a little testing ground. They're going to be able to do this for whatever opposition that you have against the American government, whether you feel like I was speaking on this yesterday when they called the veterans who's mad about their benefits getting cut. They set out, they had tents outside DC, some offices and whatnot, and politicians called them traitors to the country. So it doesn't matter whether you are, an activist for peace or you are a veteran trying to get better benefits. They will all, they would do it to you all. So it's not just the kids. They coming at all you.
Absolutely. Great point, Rome. We're going to go to this one from Roger. Says, that's why I call Savvy Bam Bam. Just be lifting. Oh, man.
Yeah, Savvy being the motherfucking jail. I'll be like, I don't even think I can lift that much. God damn.
Bruh, I'm trying to get my arms like Savvy.
Yeah.
Wait. After a while, when Savvy started looking like what's the name? Angela Bassett?
Yeah.
Because Angela Bassett, she got an arm, boy. When Savvy started looking like that, he's like, Savvy, I need you to help me lift some furniture.
Yeah, we definitely gonna use our ass to move some stuff, especially if y'all come up for the library. I'm like, move it.
Yep. Help me lift some of these 2x4s. Come on, homegirl. I know you can do it. All right, so there's a couple of chats. Do you mind going over a couple of chats?
No, I don't mind. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Yeah, I just wanted to go a couple of these ones that I had started. This is from Katie Lewis, who's also part of the Orlando chapter of RBN. Says in Brevard County, they shut down a homeless hygiene center and soup kitchen, Christian nonprofit. And now that nonprofit is set to get funding to develop affordable housing. Yeah, the Christian Service Center here in Orlando just got $3 million for 3 years to operate by putting homeless people in 2 Greyhound buses. $3 million? By the way, their senior director, the guy that's way at the top, is making like $150,000 a year, but the other people who are way at the top don't make anything, which is weird. Anyways, but yeah, they're a 501c3, by the way.
Lion said, I live in Orlando and I got ideas for mutual aid. If you got ideas for mutual aid, please email us, or you can DM us on Twitter. We will connect you with JB operation that he got going on in there, and we can connect you with Real if you have any ideas on how to fundraise and where to take over certain areas. So we got you guys. Thank you.
And there you go right there. Or if you guys want to, you guys can just get in contact with Real as well. I'll put it in their Instagram in the chat. That's the quick way to get in touch with them as well. But if you guys want to email us, there's the email right there. revolutionaryblackout@outlook.com. So that's how you get in touch with us. But also in the chat, I put the Real Orlando link as well. So if you guys got that too. So another thing is, I don't know how to, Ajni says, Ish, anybody who organizes knows how important resources is. We not about to lecture our way to revolution. It takes resources. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like, and here's the thing. I'm one of those communists that think that we can't have nice things. Look, hold up. We can have nice things. Not only can we have nice things, but you, everybody, and your mama deserve nice things, just by virtue of being a human being. You just, because I don't like that beggars can be choosers. Number one, you shouldn't have to beg. Number one, you should be able to choose. Number two, you should be able to get the best of the best just because you're a human being. You should have high quality housing, high quality education, the cleanest water, right? You should be able to have, the best well-kept environments, all just because. And I'm not saying that, we have to live in opulence, but we can live with dignity and we can live well while everybody's taken care of.
There's enough resources for everybody. It's just we have greedy people at the top holding everything from us, making us fight for crumbs. He also said, I'm trying to turn my stepmama and pops into class traders. They will be huge assets. Wish me luck. Good luck with that. Yeah. Like I said, look, we're going to need class traders. We're going to need people who have certain resources, who have certain connections that we can use to better ourselves and better our communities. You can't be scared you can't shun out everybody. There is some bad people with some money. There's some good people with some money. Some people were just born in it. I didn't talk to some people that was born into money and they would like to do more for the communities who don't have. So there's a lot of people out there that would love to give you help you with resources and help you with connections, help you build up your community, but you got to be able to talk to them. Basically, you got to learn how to professionally beg. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no fucking way around it. You got to learn how to professionally beg and talk them out of their money, because one thing that I always mention to a lot of my class trader friends is like, look, if you don't give it, somebody's going to end up taking it, and that's not a threat. That's just the reality, because if people are so poor that they have robbed, steal, and kill, like, they're going to run out of people like me who's broke. You know what I'm saying? They're going to start running in these rich neighborhoods and whatnot. So it's best to at least meet us halfway and we can build some type of operation together. So other than that,
Yeah.
With the resources that you need.
Yeah, well, as far as the class trader goes, most of our biggest revolutionaries in the socialist countries were actually class traders.
Yeah.
Think about Che Guevara. Che Guevara was a medical doctor.
Fidel Castro
was a lawyer. People like Huey P. Newton. You mean Dr. Huey P. Newton? He had a PhD.
Mm-hmm.
These people were educated. You know, I think one of them, their family owned like a big like farm. I think it was it Mao? I think it was. Like, these weren't like the people who are lower in the economic ladder. But the thing is that they not only saw the logic behind creating a system that is worker centric, but they also saw the moral clarity of making a worker centric society. And so when you appeal to not just the logic, and it could even be economic logic, because truth be told, making sure that everybody got is actually more economically, is more fiscally responsible than what we have now. It's also ethically and morally more responsible to have that type of system. So it's a win-win. So if you make that appeal to people who are a little bit more higher on the economic ladder, and if you can actually move their hearts in that direction, go ahead. Just because somebody got some money doesn't mean that you just throw them away. You still appeal to them and their sense of justice, and maybe, just maybe, they'll move. Now, the people who won't move, well, they're going to be moved eventually. You know what I'm saying? You know? So, they're going to be moved. So I want to give a shout out to this comment here. Yin Yang Eclipse says, looks like RBN is getting back to their roots and starting things off the way they did before, with a better version and plan for the future growth than what they had before. We got to get back. We got to get back to basics. Because the thing is that ultimately it's about building community.
Yeah.
And also, we're a Black channel.
Yeah.
We got to talk about Black issues, right? And the thing is, like, what's happening to the Black community. And let's be real. All right. Some people are going to get mad at me for this, but it is what it is. Right now, they're picking up a whole bunch of people off the street just for saying Free Palestine who don't have a citizen status. They may have a temporary or a permanent resident status, right? But what's to say that they may look at somebody like me or Rome and say, Rome, you look like you may be from Uganda. Mm-hmm. JB, have the last name Fauntleroy, maybe, just maybe, you might be from Haiti. And then or even if they recognize, even if they find out eventually that you're American citizen, you're detained for days and weeks on end until they finally decide to look at your status and say, oh, well, these guys are actually American citizens. And then if I have a job or things like that, then guess what? I'm screwed, because now I've been missing and they fired me. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is like, ultimately, we gotta also, depend on each other. Of course, we as Black people, especially Black Americans, we fight for what we need for our community, but that doesn't mean that we can't have solidarity with other communities and stand with them. And then some people will go, they throw us away, and they talk bad about us, and it's anti-Black. Man, there's anti-Blackness in the Black community.
Yeah. Don't talk about gay shit. Don't tell them motherfuckers you gay, nigga. Don't tell a nigga you gay. Hey, but this is how it goes. Everything trickles down from our community to yours. So everything that the white community was holding back from us, with the racism, individualism, and whatnot, not only did it hurt our community, it started to hurt their community. So when they was fighting against Medicare for all because they seen that Black people was going to benefit from it, their children died from it. When they didn't want Black people getting food stamps and welfare programs, they cut into those programs, and then it started to trickle down and hurt the white people, and now it's starving your children. So everything that we have fought for, whether that be us like civil rights, a lot of groups of people can enjoy their civil rights and actually put them to play more than Black people who has been on the forefront, been in the fucking front lines of this war for civil rights. A lot of groups of people of color get to enjoy those civil rights even better than the people who has fought for them. Black people fought for them, and everybody enjoys those. Women rights. Black people fought for those. Women get the women rights. Black people fought for them. Women get to enjoy their rights. But now white women get to enjoy their rights more than a black woman would. They get to travel more than a white woman. We didn't get them. Well, I ain't gonna say we, but they got their power to vote, got their power to have a job and whatnot. And it was black people at the front line of these wars. And even though we don't benefit the most, we still want the world to benefit from these things. So yes, if it's bad, it's going to trickle down to you. If it's good, it's going to trickle down to you. And that's another thing. Like we talk about reparations to a racist. He didn't want to tell me he was a racist, but I was telling him, look, if you want black people to stop killing, robbing, and stealing, robbing, stealing, killing, whatever, you're going to have to meet them where they are. You're going to have to give these people resources, and reparations is another way of stopping us from robbing the white community. Because I'm telling you, if the black community don't got it, we're going to find it. And if you got it, I'm going to take it. I'm really not caring about the repercussions because my people got to eat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not really caring about the repercussions. But if you want black people, if you don't want black people around you, you don't want us to live in your neighborhoods, well, you should be one of the first people pushing for reparations to make sure that we have our own foundation. We have our own way of life. We have our own fucking resources. We have our own foods. We don't have to go to your markets. We don't have to go to your bars. We don't have to go to your fucking little Coley Islands and your all your little corner store restaurants and shit. We can make our own. But if you don't want black people in your spaces, you should be the first person and the loudest person pushing for reparations for black people in America.
Yeah, to add to your point, especially, I made this tweet. Let me put it up here. I said, what part of if they did it to us, they'll do it to you, do some people not understand? Marginalized groups have been sounding their alarm for decades, and some of y'all don't listen. Now you're saying, oh my God, look at what's happening. This isn't what America is. Baby, this is exactly what America is. Y'all were just too comfortable and privileged to pay attention. Now the fascists are coming for your shit. You watched them come for ours and said, that's sad, but it is what it is. But now you're crying. Are you ready to organize now? Let's get to it. Because that's the problem. A lot of times people go, oh my God, this isn't what America is. And we're in reality, it's just like, no, baby, it's been this way. And what did we say, Rome? Fascism is a Tuesday for black people.
Yeah.
It's a Tuesday.
That's why I don't get all these Kyle Kalinske figures. I see he called us out again. He ain't say a name, but we know who the fuck he talking about. But these people are afraid of losing their footing. There is no reason why you should be richer than your audience. There is no reason you should be richer than your audience. There is no reason why your audience should be to the left of you. You know what I'm saying? You got people in your comments telling you you're wrong. We tried this before. We failed. You failed us. So yes, Democratic Party, the Democratic Progressive Party, that wing, they all has failed. They all has failed us. They gave us failed strategies, and only thing that they have gotten out of this is richer. You know what I'm saying? Only thing that you got out of this is broker. You know what I'm saying? All that money that you then gave to the Kyle Kalinske, to the what's his wife name? Crystal Balls, and all these motherfuckers who so up in arms when we talk about creating other spaces and creating a organization that we can actually, build foundation and grow on. They get up in arms and get mad when we say, hey, the Democratic Party isn't the way. And now, you guys don't know about political strategy. I know about political strategy. I know about political strategy so much that I know that you guys are sheep herding people back into the Democratic Party, because not only do it fill your pockets, it fill your ego. You know what I'm saying? You can keep these people in a group boxed in. Nobody is moving. Nobody is building anything. Everybody is looking for that one figure, and they treating Bernie like a god. They treat Bernie Sanders and AOC like a god. They look at them and say, well, they can solve all of our problems, but they can't, because all of our problems start in the fucking streets. You know, this isn't top down. You can't, socialism isn't top down. Socialism isn't top down. You can't do it like that. Nobody, not one person can save you. We all have to save each other collectively. And this is why they are so mad, because a lot of people are waking up to the shit. And it's not the fact that people are waking up to the shit, it's people are waking up and calling them out about this. So fuck you, Kyle Kalinske. You can suck my motherfucking dick. I saw what you said, but you guys have yet to build anything. The millions of dollars that you guys have accumulated throughout the years that you have been on the so-called left, you have done nothing with it. I haven't seen you hand out not one shirt, not one pair of socks, not one sandwich. I haven't seen you build anything on the ground that people can actually hold, that people can actually build on. I haven't seen you put any organizations into play. So what are you doing here besides wasting our fucking time and energy on politicians that you know not going to do a damn thing for you? Every time we give these politicians a chance, they turn around and then they tell us, well, I tried my best, but the Republicans, well, why do you have a job? If you are so powerless to the Republicans, you know, when y'all got the House, the Senate, and the Republicans got the White House, and y'all so powerless. Y'all are so powerless now. Now it's time to, oh, well, we got to do this. No. What you should be doing is leaving the Democratic Party where they are at. Leave them where they left you. Leave them where they left you, and join your community and build something better. Build something. I'm telling you, because a lot of these people, they will make you believe that organizing is hard. They will make you believe that building third parties and other organizations outside the Democratic Party is hard, but it's not. It's not. There's so many people that's out there who want to do these things, but they don't have leadership. And when we have people like Kyle Kalinske taking up space over here on the so-called political left and not doing anything with all of these young minds and bodies, now we just have you guys just wasting so much revolutionary spirit. And by the time you even wake up to the sham, you like, damn, I'm old, I'm tired. I've been knocking on doors for Bernie Sanders and AOC. I've been raising all this money for these politicians. I've been doing all this shit and I ain't get nothing out of it. And now I'm tired. I'm about to throw my hands at it. And this is exactly what they want. This is exactly what the Kyle Kalinskes want you to do. So like I said, Kyle, suck my dick. Next time you talk about RBN, say a motherfucking name, bro. Don't be scared. You know what I'm saying? Don't be scared. Because I'm not scared to say your name. I'm not scared to say your name. I know what you guys say behind our back, but I would say this to your face. You failed. Democratic, the progressive wing, Democratic socialists, all you motherfuckers gave us failed strategies, left us out here to hang, and then said, hey, you guys, it's gonna work again. Just give us another chance. But you guys don't give that same gratitude to third parties who's being sued by the same party that you guys align yourself with. You don't give us that same gratitude. You don't talk about Dr. Jill Stein, who has been fighting for peace before we was born, like the same way you talk to Bernie Sanders, who funds fucking Israel and Zion and the Zionist regime. And you can say, oh, well, he's against Netanyahu. He used Benjamin Netanyahu, but he should be saying the state of Israel altogether. So what happens when Benjamin Netanyahu is out of power? He's gonna be talking about funding the next motherfucking puppeteer over there. You know, it's the same old bullshit. But like I said, say my name, bro. Say our name. Say Nick. Say Savvy. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta say JB. You ain't gotta say Rome. You ain't gotta say nobody that was in the past. Say RBN, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because all you people do, especially you white leftists, so-called leftists, y'all don't want us to have a voice. Y'all don't want us to have a voice because it will call out your bullshit. There's no way RBN is 4 years old and still doing more shit, and just now getting our shit together, doing more shit on the ground in more states and more cities, you know what I'm saying, organizing people from city to city. 4 years old, you've been here for fucking like 20 and ain't got not one fucking organization out there. Ain't got no library, ain't got no motherfucking no kitchen. You got millions of dollars, your girlfriend is rich. There is no fucking roadblocks on your path like it is for me. I have to fundraise. I have to do all this fucking shit from the people. Y'all can just pull it out your fucking bank account and still be good. Write it off. But have you got to do any of that? You're selfish and you're racist. I haven't forgot about all that nigga hungry shit. I haven't forgot about none of that shit.
Oh, I haven't forgotten either.
I haven't forgot about
remember.
These people hate when black people are actually speaking up, because not only is we speaking truth into power, we have lived this life. We have lived through fascism. We was born in fascism. And when we tell these people this is what's really going on, they're like, oh, no. Don't be like all them radicals over there. Don't be like them radicals over there. You wouldn't know political victory. Political victory isn't somebody that we vote for and they win and we get them a bonus and government funding for the rest of their life. Political victory is liberalizing people. It's organizing people. It's putting people in a place that they need to be in order to make your community a better place. That is political victory. Political victory isn't Bernie Sanders getting in fucking office, because with the 50-something years that he's been in fucking power, what has he done for the actual left? The communist is the reason why you have your rights. The communist is the reason why you have your fucking unions. The communist is the reasons why we are at where we at now with these fucking rights. Liberalism has stood by and watched our rights be stripped away. Watch our cities decay. Bernie Sanders, all of these people, and this is what they are here for. They're not here for change. They're not here for progress. They're here for money. It's all about money to these people, because if it wasn't about fucking money, they would have been gave the shit up.
You know, first off, I want to say to all of the channels that are on what I like to call the legacy left, how often do you see a black person that's on the left, and by on the left, I mean anti-capitalist, anti-imperialist, on their programs besides a academic? How often do you see it? You don't see it very often, number one. Also, be careful about the channels that constantly will praise somebody like Bernie Sanders and this oligarch tour. Be careful with them, because the thing is that here's the problem. About to go off here. They are pulling at your heartstrings because they know you're sick and tired. They know you're angry, and they know you're in a destitute position. So therefore, they want you to go, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. And then they go, okay, so donate to my Patreon. Yep. And then they go back off to their really nice affluent neighborhoods or their penthouse suites. And then the next thing you know, you don't really see anything on the ground from them. You don't see them really out there in the streets doing anything. And then they talk about, well, we just need a win. And I'm like, you guys literally are the megaphones to the people. Why aren't you helping to mobilize the people to get on the ground? Oh, because you want the sound revolutionary, but when it comes to actually doing the work, you don't want to get your hands dirty. You don't want to be around the poors. You don't really want to be around the broke people.
Because they
and that's the thing.
Capitalism. They wholeheartedly believe in capitalism. They are not.
Well, some of them are capitalists because some of them are business owners. They have employees.
Yeah.
And they make all the money and keep most of the money at the top. Let's talk about that, shall we? Right? Because that's the thing. A lot of them we have to make payroll. We got to do all these different things. And then on top of it, when we challenge them, hell, they don't even want to say our names. They don't even want to have us on to actually have that conversation that, pushes them from the left.
I feel like Beyonce. Say my name, say my name. You know what I'm saying? Say my name, my nigga. Like, come on now. We only got like we can have these conversations. These conversations need to be held.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like you are taking up needed space. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's so many radical people out here on the ground. It's so many geniuses. It's so many fucking revolutionaries out here who can use that fucking platform and do so much good with it.
But you
So
won't have
many
them
people
on.
are deserving of that spot.
But you won't have them on. You won't bring them on. And also be careful of some organizations that divide the working class, or how can I put it? They exclude or defame some parts of the working class just based on identity. Yeah, if you're going to be for the working class, then be for the working class, not some subset. Let's be real. All right? Because that's another thing, right? Because the thing is like, you know, if you're going to be just about class, then just be about class and stop disparaging people who are of different identities. Just be about class then. And so that's the whole thing. And on top of it, if you're going to go to these neighborhoods, the hood needs help too. The hollers need help too. You know, the people who are in trailer parks, the people who are in you know, shanty towns. Let's not forget the people who are in rural areas, the rural areas that need help too.
Yeah, so, Kyle, you know, niggas be hungry, right? Niggas be hungry. You know that. You know that more than anybody. Niggas be hungry, Kyle. You know that. Come on now. So feed the people. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't gonna feed the people, you know what I'm saying? Give them the shit that they need. And they ain't feed them goddamn selves. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, y'all motherfuckers got me fucked up. Y'all liberals can suck my dick. RBN is the motherfucking future. We've been telling you guys this from the start. I know a lot of you motherfuckers try to shit on us behind our back, talk behind our back. I see it all. I see it all. There's moles everywhere. You motherfuckers ain't got the balls to say that shit to our face. So it is what it is. Until you can say our name, until you can actually critique what the fuck we are talking about, but without saying, oh, we're crazy. Because, hold on, first of all, if you're not crazy, you're not paying attention. If you're not pissed off, you're not paying attention. There's no way I can be okay with what's going on right now and be like, well, you know, shit happens. Like, no, nigga, if you're not pissed off, you're not paying attention, or you just don't give a fuck. You know?
So let me go on with this last one, the last couple, and then we can move on out. Mac Osho says, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Martin Luther King Jr. Absolutely. Thank you so very much. Shout out to Notori Lee, says, I effing love you, Sab, JB, and Rome. Thank you very much. I want to address this from Glass Blasters. Let me say something about this, because you're telling us to leave the country in order to have liberation. Number one, Rome already told you that if we do that, we'll be leaving people behind. Number one. Number two is, in order to break the machine, you got to do it from the inside. Because let's say we leave, but what's to say that this same country is not going to come and deliver more blows to people around the world? Right? Making sure that this country becomes a more worker-centric society is actually going to help liberate Palestine. Helping this country become a more worker-centric society is going to cause people to look at the Native Americans and go, oh, wait, this country screwed y'all over real bad. Okay, so land back to y'all. Breaking the cycle of the white supremacy and imperialism and capitalism within this country is going to liberate people who are of different marginalized groups as well. And so you got to break the machine from the inside. Because the thing is, like,
a couple of these talking points are talking about, oh, well, give your house to a native and blah, blah. Look, I'm pretty sure they don't want our houses, but we do advocate for land back. And I want them to be, you know, the leaders of their own land, the leaders of their own territories. I advocate for land back. I believe the natives should have control of America. You know,
Mhm.
so hey, it ain't you can use all the talking points you want, but
Yeah.
it just don't it fall flats over here. This is the left. You're not talking to a liberal. These we
Yeah,
are
we ain't
communists,
liberals.
and this is the left. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, calling us
Some
liberals is
points
an insult.
fall flat. Like I wanted to say, like Sam Cedar is only sounds smart when he's debating the conservative. You know,
Yeah.
Kyle Kalinske is only smart when he's debating a conservative. The one right winger, Charlie Clerk, whatever the fuck, he's
Charlie
only smart when he's sounds smart when he's debating the liberal. But when you come over here to the left, all that shit's fall flat. You have no argument with that bullshit over here.
Yep. Roger says Rome like a mustard. Second Amendment on a hot dog. When you speak, some respect on RBN name. Brainstorm mutual aid to draw them in. Then give a ballot initiative to sign and volunteer. I mean, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. All right. And then thank you very much to Joseph George for the super sticker. All right, Rome. I gotta eat.
Yeah,
And I saw that picture of that meal that you posted. And yes, I was envious. And yes, I wish I was in Detroit. And yes, I wish I was there to raid your fridge. Because you wouldn't have had no leftovers for me.
Man, you come up here, I'll cook all day for you, man. I'll cook all day. There was some
Nah,
pan
don't do that because I'm trying to get right.
I had sauteed some peppers, onions, garlic, had some red wine, you know, poured the red wine in the pot, let it steam up, put the chicken in, pan fried. I used some lemon, I don't know if you had it before, but it's lemon seasoned olive oil. And I use that.
Oh my God, that sounds good.
Yeah, I use that
it's like an infused, right?
Yep. I use that on the green beans. With some peppercorn sauce on them, a little bit of garlic, and a little bit of bourbon, brown sugar. And
bourbon brown sugar.
That's real good.
Yeah, just like some mac and cheese and candied yams.
Oh yeah. Oh, before I go, I wanted to shout out Charlie. Thank you for the $40 on the diaper giveaway. Kurt, thank you for the $100 on the diaper giveaway. If y'all can donate the tour for the poor. I'm pretty sure it's on the last stream up under this one. Y'all can go to my Twitter page and find out information. I'm about to head outside. It was good talking to you guys. I know a lot of you motherfuckers probably clipped that Kyle Kalinske rant, but he can suck my motherfucking dick, like I said before. If you want to say something about RBN, like the who said that? Put some respect on my name, nigga. We've been out here. You know, niggas don't even know you got legs, nigga. Shut the fuck up. But all right, y'all.
Hang on. Whoa. Why aren't you fighting for what's going on in Congo, Palestine? It's Palestinians, by the way. People don't like black folks. Number one, Palestinians do like black folks. I don't know where you got that from. You guys stop believing the propaganda from Zionists, first of all. Second of all, we actually talked about what's going on in Congo. I talked about what's going on in Congo. Savvy has talked about what's going on in Congo. We have talked about what's going on in Congo in here on RBN. So what the hell are you talking about?
If you're speaking against imperialism altogether,
because yes, what's going on in Congo is bad. But guess what? Here's something you don't know. What is one of the diamond mines that actually is oppressing people in Congo and putting them basically enslaved in order to work those diamond mines is as a Zionist Israeli that's also oppressing Palestinians. You got to recognize how it's all connected, because if you don't recognize how it's all connected, then you're lost in the sauce. And you're lost in the sauce, it seems, right now. And so you got to recognize how us fighting against this system is also connected to what's going on in Palestinians, what's going on in Congo, what's going on in Tigray, what's going on in Haiti. It all is connected. And so the thing is, like, us liberating ourselves here within this country, us building a worker-centered society is also going to be liberation for the people of Congo too. So come on, stop this. Oh, why are you guys fighting for these people? Why aren't you fighting for those people? No, we're fighting for all oppressed people, because an injustice anywhere, it's an injustice everywhere.
Yeah.
I know I'm getting into my Kwame Ture right now, but
Yeah.
here's the thing. Welcome to RBN. I hope you stay, and I hope you are able to, learn a little bit more about what we're trying to do here. Thank you. Anyway, so we got to go. Yeah, because I'm hungry and I'm hangry right now, and I don't want to get mad at nobody.
Yeah, my grandson coming over tonight.
Wait, hold on. I gotta say this. Shell, you beautiful, beautiful woman.
Hey, baby.
Good. So good to see you. I see what you do.
Yeah.
All right.
That's my
I'm gonna give you a forehead kiss because I'm your brother. All right. Because next time I see you, I'm making you some peach cobbler because you my sister, and I love you. Anyway,
I think she be cobbler. I think she be eating.
What's the ice cream cone now?
Yeah, she a vegan vegetarian. She don't eat a lot of stuff. So.
Oh, well, I'll make it vegan. I don't care.
All right.
Yeah, I'm still gonna. Yeah. All right. Let me. So yeah, we're leaving now. Okay. All right. So everybody, take care of yourselves. Do all the things if you got them, and continue to try to organize. Get to know your neighbors. Like, even do you know your neighbors at a first name basis? Do you know their names? Right? Can they borrow a cup of sugar from you? Can you borrow a couple of eggs from them? Right. Come on now. Let's bring that. Let's normalize being neighbors again, shall we? All right, Rome.
All right, y'all.
Way going on too, and I'm excited for that. Real Orlando's having their HQ thing is going to be going on this Saturday. Their fundraiser, so I'll be attending that. If you guys want to see me there. Anything else, Rome?
Nope, that's it.
All right. So take care, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.